Good morning, all. Today we will see how design thinking can be used as a confrontation tool, or how the design thinking mechanism can be used to solve conflicts, if any, arising in a design team. Also, we will look at a case study. Okay, I am audible now. Okay, okay. So let us, before thinking of how this can be used as a confrontation tool or a conflict management tool, it is better if you look at the attributes of design thinking. So the various phases of design thinking already we have seen. So please keep those things in your mind. The various stages. What are the various stages? First, we have empathize, then define, ideate, prototype, and test. So these are the stages. And when people work in all these stages, qualities of this thinking process. So first quality is, or first attribute is ambiguity. So what it means, accepting that things can be unclear or ill-defined when working on a particular problem, and that answers might not be obvious or not. So when you begin the problems, or when you begin thinking of a particular solution, the problem might not be clear. So some description for that, design thinking is often applied to what are called weak to problems, or the problems which are not defined properly, or we do not know exactly what is the reason for the problem. So we need to find a solution. So we need to have empathize, we need to discuss with the users. All those things are required. So those without a fixed solution and which are complex and filled with uncertainty. So in such situations, we need to find a solution for that. Second attribute of design thinking is collaborative. So what is the meaning? Working together with colleagues and experts from different disciplines at almost every stage of the design process, design thinking process. So we will have to work with different people, different experts, maybe computer science, electrical, electronics, mechanical, or even some domain experts. So in that way, it's a collaborative approach. So in order to solve complex, tricky problems, a multidisciplinary approach is needed. Combination of or cooperation of different disciplines, where the combined wisdom of different fields is used to gain a deep understanding of those problems. Another attribute is constructive. So what do you mean by constructive? Standing on the shoulders of giants, or building upon the ideas of others during ideation. So that means sometimes we may be improving a particular product. So we may be improving a software, isn't it? We may be improving a mobile application, or that means already there may be a similar mobile applications, but we may want to add more features onto that, isn't it? Already there may be a similar application, but we may want to incorporate some more additional features, functionality into that. That is what standing on the shoulders of giants. Rather than put down or argue against an idea, build upon it and suggest tweaks and improvements. Suggest tweaks means some minor changes, corrections here and there. So in design thinking, a constructive criticism is important, isn't it? That is all about ideation, isn't it? Constructive criticism. We see all ideas are valid. Everyone is important in the design team. So no idea is invalid. So when some idea is put forth by somebody else, we need to have a sincere discussion on that. So constructive criticism may be arising there. So we should not take it as personal or something like that. It is for the benefit of the company, benefit of the solution. So it's an approach that focuses on building solutions, and thus involves a lot of ideation and building on other ideas, already existing ideas, already existing products, already existing solutions, already existing approaches, or already existing algorithms, or any product. So we may be building on that. Another important feature is curiosity. So being naturally motivated to ask questions, even when you think you know the answers. Being curious also entails having a fresh beginner's mindset. So curiosity is another feature of the people working in the design team, to know more about them, to know more about the design solution, why it is so, why not it is that way, why we should work on this platform, why not that platform, why not this tool, why this approach, isn't it? So that we should ask so many questions. Even if you know the answer, we should ask the question. Sometimes we may have some innovative ideas, maybe, flashing in our minds. The starting point of a design thinking process usually involves deeply understanding the problem, and that requires a lot of curiosity to dig deeper. Often, actionable insights come not from superficial observation but deep probing. So, when you are curious, you be able to dig deeper into the problems. And otherwise, you will be satisfied with whatever information available. So, in order to understand more about the problems, users, or solutions, now we should have some curiosity in our mind. So this is one aspect of the team, design thinking team, or the people involved in the design thinking. Next one is empathy, isn't it? Being able to understand things from the user's point of view. We have discussed this. Design thinking is a human-centered approach to solve problems. So it starts with a deep understanding of the user's perspective as well as their emotions and behaviors. We need to put aside our own biases, our own experience, knowledge, and we should start from a beginner's mindset. And we should try to look things from their perspective. How do they feel? What do they want? How do they like the product to be, isn't it? What are the features? What are the difficulties they face, the users face, isn't it, when they use a particular product, so that we want to improve it, isn't it? So that is what empathy or empathize. That is one of the important stages in the design thinking process. Next feature is holistic. So being able to see the larger picture and looking at a situation or problem from multiple angles, the complete picture of a solution, not from parts of a solution. So a website means a holistic view of the website. Who are all the users? What are the features? Come from an end-to-end. We used to say end-to-end solution, isn't it? Or we also used to say full stack development. It's not that front end, it's not that back end alone. So combination of this front end and back end database put together, no? The complete picture, holistic view of the solution. So complex problems require holistic, whole of picture perspectives. Thus, design thinkers focus not only on the problem but on the users too, as well as on the whole value chain and distribution channel. Even in the initial classes, we identified who are all the users. Sometimes even the people who distribute them, people who maintain them, people who repair them, they are also considered as users. So we will consider the broad picture because every small part adds up to define the experience of the solution. So we may get some input from each of them. So only when you think the holistic view of the solution, we will be identifying a better solution for the problem in hand. Iterative. So this also we understood how iterative means in when we define the various stages of the design thinking process: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. These stages might be in a loop, so that it can be iterated as many times as we want, so that we come up with the final best solution. So a cycle of feedback loops where new information is used to improve ideas throughout the process. The stages in design thinking are not linear sequences, but instead modes of thinking that can be used in a project. As such, new information from one stage often leads to feedback loop in other stages. And this iterative process helps the team progress towards the optimal solution. Non-judgmental. This is also crucial. Non-judgmental. Being able to hold discussions about ideas without any judgment shown towards the ideas of other people. This is an important feature that would, go far in solving conflicts, isn't it? So all the team members should be non-judgmental. So in ideation phases of a design thinking project, it is essential not to make discussions turn personal. We should not have any personal pinpointing also, or feel we should not take it whenever we have constructive criticism, we should not take it personal, or we should take care so that this doesn't turn out to be personal. So no, we should not hurt other people. No idea should be thrown out, isn't it? So sometimes idea may be given by the so-called least important person in the group or in the design team. So we should have that mindset. Like we should not be judgmental, so that we feel we can identify that no idea is invalid or less important. So no idea should be thrown out, because even non-feasible ideas can inspire more ideas. Even when a seemingly less viable idea, sometimes we may have a spark sometimes we may have a viable solution from out of that, and might eventually lead to a solution. So open mindset, embrace wild ideas, do not jump to conclusions, isn't it? And we should be open to all inputs, all criticisms, all discussions, and adopt an experimental approach. Wild ideas are not taboo in design thinking. Instead, they are encouraged in ideation sessions. Design thinking is about exploring the seemingly obvious for insights that are buried and trying out ideas to see if they work. So we should be open to all the suggestions, all the ideas, and we should try our level best to see which is working in the best possible way, so that the solution in hand is solved, or the problem in hand is solved. Okay, so these are the attributes. These are the attributes of design thinking. So out of this, our focus today is how this design thinking helps solving conflicts. So some of the attributes we can particularly look at. It's like so it's collaborative, it is constructive, or empathy, or non-judgmental, open mindset. So these all features would definitely add to the conflict management, isn't it? So one of the greatest challenges any organization or team will face lies in how it effectively manages disagreement and conflict. Whenever there are people involved in a team, there is a chance of conflicts. That might happen whenever more than one human being is involved in any activity. There might be, even in our home also, even in our house also, there might be conflicts, there might be disagreement, there might be difference of opinion. So father may be having one idea, mother may be having different ideas, son or daughter may be having yet another idea. So but the unity of a family, it depends largely on how we solve these conflicts and move along as a single team. It's not that conflict or disagreement does not occur in a family or in a team. It is all about solving the disagreement and taking, it's like seeing all these disagreements as something like we all learn, and we all get more ideas, and whenever we have a difference of opinion, we should be able to look at things from their perspective. So then we will be able to learn something. What is the point that he is trying to make? Why he is different in opinion? What is the point that he's holding? So that way we should be able to have an open mindset. We should be having a positive attitude towards all this discussion, all these stages in the design thinking process. So then definitely the disagreement and conflict will be taken in a positive sense, and so that it ultimately leads to better ideas and better solutions, isn't it? So design thinking provides an effective tool for confronting and managing disagreement and conflict. People who use design thinking demonstrates better inquiry and listening skills, which is a key to effectively managing disagreement and conflict. Because design thinking, these are all self-explanatory, although already we discussed the attributes. Based on that, these are all self-explanatory statements. Because design thinking skills can be applied to dealing with disagreement and conflict, confrontation happens in a more timely and healthier manner. Design thinking is a valued process for confronting disagreements and effectively breaking down unhealthy silos. Silos means individual ego kind of things. Something like using the word I and my idea. I am important and I am knowledgeable. Something like that. Or I think when I think that my idea is important, my idea is the only viable solution. So that is something like a silos. Individual large block. So unhealthy silos. It's about collaboration. The process of design thinking creates a platform for the constructive management of diverse thinking and strategies and the conflicts that often naturally results. So it's an aspect of creativity and innovation that is natural to any environment in which people are committed to finding and creating the best solutions. So our focus is to find or create the best solution. So we should try to take all this disagreement, all this difference of opinion into that perspective, so that every idea, every person contributes to the final design, final solution, isn't it? So that means every idea is taken care of, every point is taken care of. So when managed properly, the commitment to viewing team conflict and disagreement as an opportunity for creativity, and it can be leveraged as a means to drive more innovative solutions. Whenever there are difference of opinion, whenever there are difference of ideas, its chances are high that we have innovative solutions to the market. So it can also add to the speed at which innovation takes place, because multiple ideas start bumping in from different angles, different people, or when teams compete with one another. So even within the design team, you may have different sub teams. So whenever different teams are given a similar task. Say find a particular design for a website or a particular architecture for a mobile application. So they all internally compete with one another. And what is the ultimate result? The speed at which innovation takes place and the quality of innovation that is taking place in the company. So examples, research and design centers of leading companies such as Samsung, they all employ this kind of design thinking approaches. Here, several design thinking teams are established to work on the same challenges. Different teams will be working on the same challenges so that they all have different independent ideas. The teams work independently. They don't communicate sometimes even with one another, and often don't know like what kind of work the other team is doing. So they will work independently. But finally, what is the output? Different teams will come, different ideas will come, and finally the coordinating people or the leading people, the key personalities in the company can take a final call on like what is the final decision or what is the final solution, what is the structure of the final solution will be. So that is the advantage. Their goal is to use design thinking to discover new products, services, and solutions within a specific domain. So this does not appear to be a lack of management coordination. That means whenever you have multiple teams working independently and parallelly, it is not a lack of coordination, but it's a case of putting more resources, because we spend more time and effort, isn't it? Because we are employing multiple groups working on the same problem. So that should be taken as a measure to increase the probability of success, because multiple teams, when they work, different ideas, and if one solution is not practically possible or so is not good, there is a chance that other team might come up with a better solution. So in this environment, internal design thinking team competitiveness is encouraged, and it seems quite practical in that corporate culture. It is quite employed. Example is Samsung. You can search in the Google how Samsung is employing this successfully. In design thinking, people come to understand the value of listening to one another. That is quite important. Even that is also one feature which contributes to how conflicts is managed. People learn how to listen actively to one another, building one idea upon the idea. Because my friend, my colleague in the team might say something, then I might add something onto that. So finally, everyone, chips in something. What happens is that finally we have the required solution. So that is why. So in order to add something onto something onto the idea put forward by the other person, what we should do initially, we should actively listen. We should actively listen to, pay attention to, heed to what he's actually telling, isn't it? Only then, without listening to what he's telling, how can we understand what he's telling, and how can we contribute something more onto that? So active listening is quite significant or important attribute in the design thinking approach. So which in fact playing a great role in solving the conflicts. So what we should do, behaving more collaboratively and engaging in a shared creativity. So individual creativity and contribution is important, but more than that, we should have an attitude of collaboration, and we should have a sense of shared creativity. Everybody is learning, like something like a team. Team means together each achieves more. So that is what TEAM, together each achieves more. So collaboration, so shared creativity, that is what. So sometimes disagreements may be there, but we should try to solve it. So it all leads back to the understanding that openness to listening to one another results in improved levels of inquiry, isn't it? Whenever we are open, we will have inquisitive qualities, and that is quite necessary or essential in effectively solving conflict. The skills of listening and seeking understanding are key to empathy, the first step in the design process. So listening skills and understanding skills are quite important as far as the stage empathize is concerned. And when you have empathy, when you are empathetic, and there is a chance that conflicts are resolved. Genuine inquiry and open listening are paramount. It directly impacts how conflict is constructively managed. So the result of lesser levels of fear, fear in the sense when you talk more, when you open actively, when you have active listening, there is no fear, because each one respects other. Everybody in the team respects the other person. So there is no fear, because it is not that when I will not have any inhibition. I will not be hesitant to put forth my ideas, because I am sure that I will be respected in my team. So there is no fear. So lesser levels of fear translate into free expression. Whenever I am, I have no fear, I will be more expressive. I will be able to express myself. So that leads to the ability of people in engaging idea generation, and so ideation stage will be more productive. And finally, the cooperation or co-creation of the product will be more successful. So when applied to conflicts, design thinking results in greater openness and faster generation of ideas, better feedback loops, and less competition over whose idea is better. We never compete, like who is having a better idea, who is giving important suggestion, who is giving pivotal or vital suggestions or important feedback. Everyone is respected, everyone is taken care of, every idea is taken care of, and it is thoroughly evaluated. And whenever it is of when we understand it's not viable, we'll together take a decision that is this is not viable, or this is viable, or we'll go ahead in this direction, we will not go ahead in that direction as far as the final product is concerned. All team members should be encouraged to respect each other's inputs. So that is important. So in order to dig deeper and to build upon each other's findings, as opposed to trying to, we should not be dominating and trying to score with a winning idea as a solo effort, as a singular effort. Thus, design thinking proves to be an effective tool in conflict management. So because of these attributes, because of the way the people work with the design thinking and all the stages of design thinking, it tries to, it's an effective tool as far as conflict management is concerned. So next one is a case study. So illustrate the design thinking approach for designing a bag for college students within a limited budget. Describe each stage of the process and the iterative procedure involved. Use hand sketches to support your arguments. So I hope this design thinking and its attributes, how it is able to solve conflicts in a design theme successfully. So that's all for today. Thank you.